All right. So Shane here, daily-astrocat.com. I'm going to keep it short today because a little congested. So let's do this. Wednesday, and the moon is new in Scorpio at 28 degrees, 12 minutes, 10:47 on the West Coast. What does that mean? Well, it means that we're not going to have it on the East Coast till later on. However, you are going to prepare your new moon things, your new moon intentions, your new moon everything, right? Scorpio moon. We're severing things. We're moving on from where we're at, and we're moving on in big ways. And we're starting out new things in big ways too. Now, look, this is a heck of a grand water trine because we've got all sorts of energy here. I'm going to put out another video probably tomorrow, only because your resident intuitive is psychically telling me we want a video, so I've got to put a video out with the charts and everything on it. I hear you, Amy. So anyway. Listen, your intuition is more developed now. Speaking of hearing of people saying things to you, right, or visually seeing them or something, it's just those eye tricks and stuff like that. It's like it's what you perceive. It's not what you see. It's what you perceive, right? So look, your intuition developing, now it's time to really start using it. Your business sensibilities are kicking into high gear as well. Whether it is for others or for yourself, hopefully it's both, okay? This is the time to manifest some potent intentions, like I just said, around our personal power and how best to use it. And don't worry about getting it right all at once. Mercury will revisit the same spot once again, and the result will be further refined or even perfection, right? And today's keyword is gather, as in pull everything into you. The color clearly is going to be black. Now, this is your chance to pull together all your various efforts, re-energize your previous offerings, your creative projects, your dreams, and your spirit guides. Yeah, because Mercury's retrograde, right? So we don't really go crazy on new stuff, but the old stuff, oh yeah, we're going to be able to get into that, right? Accept the blessings of what the universe wishes to bestow upon you and set your hand to the task. Just do it, okay? Sometimes we create things for ourselves too. We make space. We find ways to communicate. And I think, one of the best things to do is just ask. You ask, and then the other person will communicate and clarify where they're coming from. Now, if it's from a stupid position of like corporate power or something like that, they're going to communicate the stupid shit to you, right? That's okay. Go beyond it. That's what part of this whole thing is, going beyond, right? It's just like doing math, guys. Math doesn't make any freaking sense at all until you suspend the reality and you say, okay, I will enter this alternate reality called math, okay? Calculus is a great example of that. Another realm, this other thing, this other entity, right? Once we accept the rules of that construct, then it becomes easy. And I never thought I'd hear myself say that, but it is. And that way, once you suspend it and you take your logic out of it and you accept that which is being asked of you to try to wrap your head around, then you're able to move forward with it, just like stupid corporate shit, okay? Same thing, okay? It doesn't have to make sense. Just that's the context, that's the rules, that's where everybody else is within. So, dumb it down and go with it. That's why we do other stuff, right? That's why we do this. That's why I do this. That's why I talk to all of you out there. That's why you have creative interests outside of the 9 to 5, the 3D, so to speak, right? Yes, and that's why we're building a community of like-minded folks to do this stuff, to talk about these things, because this stuff is fun, this stuff matters, and this stuff can help us bring better things into our lives by changing the construct, changing the way that we're interfacing with the matrix. Sounds really weird, right? Okay, so look, the path leads to Capricorn season, okay? That's where you're going. This is with these new intentions you're setting out. That's how we're going. We will get there in style. Okay? The kite with Uranus at his apex is rising and taking more planets with it than ever before. Changing financial fortunes, right? That's kind of what that is. And not in a volatile way, but in a more settling kind of way, because Uranus is retrograde. When Uranus is retrograde, it tends to be less quirky and less electric, and it tends to be more not necessarily reliable, but reliable in a really weird, independent way. And so that's where we can gain some independence on this Taurus things that we're going back over. We just left that period. And so, if you made money during that last 8 years, 8 years, whatever the Uranus cycle is, it might, I'd have to go back and look, just talking off the top of my head, but it is a long cycle, right? So, we're talking about that cycle. If you made money then that's fine. If you just started making new money and we go back, you're looking at that old context of things and you're like, well, I'm still better off. But now how are you going to be better off, and how are you going to break that clean and then move out of that Taurus phase again, right? Well, you can do it a couple of ways. You can start reinvesting in things that you've invested back when it first happened, okay? That would be interesting, right? Would it carry through? Not quite sure. But that's up to us to talk to our own intuition, our own guides, and see if that actually works. Now, this makes our efforts visible, okay, because that kite is lifting up, and promises returns that would make even a Taurus blush. Okay, so you've got some visible effort going on. Suspend it. Just push through with it, right? Push the 3D, and then enhance the 5D. Perhaps the 5D can become the 3D source of independence. That's what we like to call that green energy that's out there, right? Green energy. It's money. Green energy. You have to give it in order to receive it. 'Tis the season. The moon is at the base of this high-flying kite. Being rooted in our own power means that others see the value that you are bringing. Really? Okay, yeah, they do. Creative, spirit, and spiritual, cautiously accumulating and wildly rewarding, and determined to achieve this in both the short term and the long term. Okay, we're not talking just 3D. We're talking all across the board, right? Yes, Lilith is present, and she will not be held down either. That's right. Venus in Scorpio, Lilith in Scorpio. What we want will not be denied us. What we decide will not be, we're not going to be deterred. We're going to go for what it is that we need, but it's going to be wild and it's going to be fun. Now, I can't emphasize enough how important this lunation, that fancy word for a new moon, will be to our continuing journey. Sure, there will be bumps, okay, unmet expectations, letdowns, but overall things are still much better. I like doing new moon water because I'm a new moon baby, right? That's right. So, and I like to cleanse my crystals and recharge my entire area on a new moon. In that way, I capture as much energy as I can to imbue all of my items accordingly. And that way, you make the power yours. Okay. So in 1823, the Hungarian composer Béla Bartók's orchestral work, the Dance Suite, premieres on the 50th anniversary of the cities of Buda and Pest uniting. That's right, before it was just like, I'm from Buda. Well, I'm from Pest. Swat, swat, swat. Kidding, all right? And our birth is José Raúl Capablanca. He's born in 1888, and he died in 1942. This is a Cuban world chess champion. Now, he's not the Cuban world chess. He was the world chess champion who just happened to be from Cuba. And he was champion from 1921 to 1927. Born in Havana, Cuba. And technically, that would be the Spanish Empire. So that's all I got for you. Let's recap, okay? Keyword is gather, as in gather our intentions, gather our little things, gather everything to you, gather power. Gather the power of the Scorpio moon. And the color is black, as in the kind of candle you're going to burn to purge the old and make room for the new. I appreciate and love every single one of you. Do me a favor. Like, share, save it for later. Do whatever you have to do. I said it was going to be short, and I didn't tell the truth. That's okay. We'll have a chart breakdown later on in the day. So be looking for it. Appreciate and love every single one of you. Today is a 7. Happy astrocatting.